Welcome back to the show, everybody. Yo, man, we got to start off this evening's news with some unfortunate news. Is Excellent Adventures is going away, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it was just one of those things, just like has been some things previously as people are starting to discover themselves and find their way and do what they gonna do. Is I'm kind of glad it's happening because even though, man, I enjoyed those episodes that him and Justin, that him, Gutex and Justin Wong did. They had Yikes and Neo in the cut, and it felt fun, but it didn't feel the same because Mike wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that it was episodes when one or the other wasn't there and it was still good, but it was just something great about the tag team of Gutex and Mike Ross that like had my early morning Sundays. Like I got up in anticipation to watch the new episode of the Excellent Adventures. Always did, and it's like it's like you get used to at some point that things aren't what they are anymore, and this is just one of those things. But here's the legitimate truth. Number one, on the one side, we talking about Ryan Gutierrez, aka Gutex, the Pulp Champ. You ain't gotta worry about him. That dude been hustling. That dude been hustling since the hustle. I'm like, you should go back for real, and you should go really listen to some Gutex hustle stories, like for real. Like that dude done everything to make sure that he can keep a dollar in his pocket. He's somebody I look up to and respect in the FGC, and have always respected that man's grind. And to see that, he jumping into new stuff now, and not letting this hold him back. That's great to see because, I'm like, I appreciate Gutex for a lot of things that he done, including inspire me and most importantly, bringing me the main inspiration for what I do right here, that being one John D. Rockefeller, aka Dr. Sub-Zero, dog. I'm like, a man that taught me to sit up here and get on the mic and keep it real. That's why everything is what it is, because that's my inspiration for what it is that I do, one of the many. So I just want to just shout out to both of them, and it's like, you do what you gonna do. Maybe one day shows may release more news. I don't know. Stay tormented out there in the motherfucking streets. I don't know. But Gutex is gonna be okay. You ain't gotta worry about him. He always on the grind. You know what I'm saying? On the other side of that coin, my man Mike Ross, Mr. Fourth Place, Mr. Mike Ross. I'm like, I'm glad that ultimately he found some peace in Guilty Gear because of all the shit that he went through. That he enjoyed playing Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 was garbage to him. The way Capcom did him on Capcom Pro Talk, and then how they tried to bring a version back of Capcom Pro Talk, and it lasted all of 2 fucking weeks for Mike just to be, man, fuck it. I'm like, he got on Reddit, was like, man, Streets wouldn't hold me down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's whatever, and I can understand it from that. But I'm glad that Mike Ross has found some peace in his life. Whatever that is. And maybe one day that man may come back and come do what it is that he do. But when you really think about it, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Things come and go. You know what I'm saying? Things happen in waves. And like I say recently, if you really think about like what's going on, you got a lot of people separating, doing their own things for their various reasons or whatever. So it's not a big deal. Because it's been a while since Excellent Adventures was like part of like my Sunday morning thing. Like I would get up, like get my breakfast together, get my boys, sit down, like cause it's 7 a.m. triple the guide time, new Excellent Adventures is coming on, and I'm ready to watch it. Cause it's like I lived vicariously through watching that, because you know me, I don't like online ain't necessarily my thing, but when I really think about it, cause I knew I was gonna sit down and get on the mic, something dawned on me that didn't make sense, but always made sense, that I understood but didn't understand, but now I do. I didn't watch The Excellent Adventures to watch people play Street Fighter. I watched that to get my dose of Gutex and Mike Ross. That's the truth. And it's like when I think about that now and how that flow back into me and what it is that I'm trying to do, is that I know that even though my always plan was for the games to be first, because they are important as a part of my storytelling device, at some point, and I am slowly doing that, I'm starting to transcend what it is that I offer the internet. And I think that's important for anybody out there in the streets trying to create something, that ultimately you got to get to the point where you have to transcend what it is that you present. And I'm slowly getting there, because I'm slowly understanding that it can't be the way that it was because of the other truth. What? We'll say maybe 7 or 8 years ago, we'll say that it was easy for a fool to get a capture card when it came to the game business. Before that, capture cards were a rarity, cost $300-$400, and all people were doing were stealing things to watch on TV for you to put on the internet. It wasn't until the fire came to the masses, fools figured it out. Everybody and their mama playing video games on the internet. So then it becomes hard to stand out. So then it can't be about what you playing now. It has to be about you. You know what I'm saying? And I really for real believe that Gootech and Mike Ross, that whatever it was that they played, they transcended what it was they were playing because you want to watch Gootech and Mike Ross. And it didn't help when the extra players, especially shout out to my main man K Brad. I'm like, when he came through, like him, Mike Ross and Gootech, they were just like the 1, 2, 3 knockout punching, and you always watch that, and it was always good. And it's like it was some very great moments when other people were there. You know what I'm saying? Like that really brought the dynamic of Gootech and Mike Ross to that forefront where they transcended what it was they were doing. So all I can do with this juncture is wish them luck in whatever it is that they do in the future. That Gootech still gonna hustle. That boy gonna hustle to after the day he dead. So shout out to Gootech. Get that money. Get your hustle on. Mike Ross, stay finding your peace, man. I'm like, you've earned that. Like you've earned the right to sit up here and be like, man, I just want some peace. I just want some peace, and I just want a Roman cancel a motherfucker. You've earned that, my friend. I'm like, I ain't got nothing to say. I'm like, you do what it do, and it is what it is. But I will say this though, when I think about like this in hindsight and in the current moment, is shout out to the Road Dogs. The Road Dogs, IFC Yipes, that man Chris Mason, the best 1-2 punch in the FGC. I'm like, if we gonna take the tier list, I take that combo over Tasty Jam. I take that all day. Like, Say Jam and Tasty Steve, they put in work, but nothing like Yikes and that boy Chris Matrix, because it's just something about them because of how long they've been doing it. It's like they are the Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler of the fight game community. I can't even take that away from them. Real talk. I'm like, yo, you got Ultra Chin, they putting in work. Like I said, Tasty Jam, and you got a whole bunch of other combo, but it ain't nothing like that, because that No Frills podcast has been murdering the game. Like, when I listen to No Frills bring me back when I was listening to them Gootech podcasts, when I was listening to the Dr. Sub-Zero show, when I used to sit up there and chill late at night and pop on Alpha and shout out to Boom K one time, you know what I'm saying? These nights was good, family. Like, back in the day, like, that's how listening to No Frills make me feel like, yo, like I'm in that throwback era though, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and I like feeling that way, so it's like, you can find what you need. I'm like, you got that dude Ernesto Lopez. He's sitting up here doing bogus adventures. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really came through. He do his button check thing or whatever. But he filling in that blank of what Excellent Adventures used to be. So if you're looking for something similar, you may want to check it out. I watched it once or twice. It's cool, but it's not something that's immediately on my radar. But shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? Looking at the game and seeing that's a void that needs to be filled. You know what I'm saying? And you got everybody else doing what it is that they do. But at the end of the day, it ain't gonna be no other Gootech in Mike Ross. I'm sorry. I'm like, all the stuff that they done been through as a tandem, it ain't gonna get much better than the both of them. I don't really, when it comes to fighting game community shit, it ain't gonna get much better than that man Gootech and that man Michael Ross. Roos. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I used to watch Cross Counter Live religiously every week. Like, I didn't watch what came before it, but I watched Cross Counter Live, and then when it was time for the Dr. Sub-Zero show that came on, I was right there staying up late at night. Excuse me. Staying up late at night to catch those when they came on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember those times. Like, I remember one time specifically, somebody may have gotten on Cross Counter Live and mentioned my name without mentioning it, but that's a whole nother story. We'll get into that when the time is right for me to get into that specific thing. But it is what it is. So, with that being said, like I said, Gootech's doing that unnamed esports show or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, like I say, he on his grind and Mike Ross doing what he's doing. And it's like you have plenty of other content creators that do stuff. And before I forget, because I shouted out No Frills, I shouted out Alphism, I shouted out the Dr. Sub-Zero show, I shouted out everything. There was one thing that I forgot. Shout out to one Victor Ratliff in the Dogface show. That is something that changed the fighting game community and where it is and how we do it. So if anybody deserves something on their way to get thanked, shout out to Dogface. shout out to Dogface. The Dogface show, go look that up. I know it's on the internet somewhere. Like, that's something that if you were part of this community and you don't know about Dr. Sub-Zero, the Dogface show, Alphism and stuff, you need to do your homework. Because a lot of that is a lot of where our history is. Like, who we were as we evolved into what we are now, because we sitting up here trying to do things, trying to still keep it grimy, because no frills keeping it grimy, but we still trying to get to this money because we got families to feed. So it is what it is. Regardless of that, we got more show for you, because we got us a packed newscast, because you know what I'm saying, both to report this news earlier, but it is what it is. But I didn't want to start this podcast off without showing love to Gootex and Mike Ross and everything that Excellent Adventures has been the best tandem in the business. I can't do nothing, you know what I'm saying, but you know what I'm saying, they handed that over to Yikes and Chris Matrix. They the best tandem in the FGC. Argue me, please. Argue me. Like, I'm like, no frills then killed it 4 episodes in a row. They done had me thinking, they done had me in tears. That show is dumb, and I love it that it's bringing. I'm like, I said this in the video a while back, and I'll say it again. Battle for the strongest changed shit. Whatever that energy was that was in the mix of Battle for the Strongest, Yikes and Chris Matrix then carried that into something, and it's permeating the FGC, and I like how that feels. That we can still get this money, but we can still have some fun, and we can still clown. I don't know if we ever gonna get back to kicking bitches down the stairs, you know what I'm saying? Some delivery shit. I don't know if we'll ever get back to that. Will we ever get back to pencil tears? I don't fucking know. But it's good to know that a lot of what it is that I came up on, it's making that circle back. You know what I'm saying? So as you know what I'm saying, that we can get this money, but we can keep it grimy too and keep it respectable. It is what it is. Regardless of that, we've got more show for you, man. Sit back, relax, and chill, because, we got us a doozy tonight. I am the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. Look at me real closely. You alive right here on Team GRF TV. I got the congregation with me, Becky Janine. I'm in the building, you're in the building. We, of course, and I mean this with every fiber of my body, we got more show for you right after these bang commercial messages. One more time, man. Shout out to Gootex and Mike Ross for being an inspiration for what it is that I do. Shout out to Dr. Sub-Zero. Shout out to Boone K. Shout out to Dogface. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are inspiration for what I do, man. I came up on y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, man. Some good times, man. Some good times. And I'm glad the future is here. We get this money and we still keeping it grimy, man. Wonderful. So glad. But regardless, boom! More show for you right after these commercial messages.